This meeting is being recorded.
Hey, Faith and Soul. If you are catching this, it means that you are catching the recording. And this is actually, if you didn't see it already in the title description, part two of a two-part series. If you have not already seen part one, make sure and go back to our YouTube channel and catch the first one because it'll make a little bit more sense. Because we're not going to start from the beginning. So this might be a little confusing. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this. And if you have any questions and you're on Team Faith and Soul, make sure and reach out to me. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. So just to recap a little bit on what we went over before for part one. Part one basically was the introduction covering over material on little tips and tricks on how you can not only follow up with your customers, what that looks like, but also when you have somebody that you're doing a party with and they're your current host, so host coaching as well, what that looks like. But basically just going in with the fear of follow-up. And because the thing is that one thing I was talking to recently with a new team member this morning was when something brings us fear, it means that we're going to grow from it. It's going to challenge us, and it's asking us to step aside and get out of our comfort zone, basically. So if it doesn't bring you fear, it means that you're comfortable with it. It's maybe something you've been doing for a while, and you're not going to go from that. You're just going to be comfortable. Just that. Follow up first and foremost is the key to a sustainable long-term business. Excuse me. Follow up is super simple. Doesn't have to be complicated. For me, I have over the last couple of years being with Cincy, have been able to make sure that when it comes to follow up, that it is definitely a lot more organized. On my time, I used to have a really bad hang up of following up pretty much within like split seconds. I always felt like I had to do it every day, all the time. And I think what it was that I just wasn't organized and I wasn't tracking, who I was following up with, who I needed to reach out to, that kind of thing. And because of I wasn't getting organized and I wasn't tracking everything, then I was all over the place. Hence why I felt like I had to do it and drop everything and do it right then and there. So let's just walk through the beginning process of why you're following up with your customers. Okay. So when you have somebody that places an order, typically what it looks like for me is when I know somebody has placed an order. And if you're new to Cincy, by the way, how you know someone has ordered from you without them actually verbally telling you otherwise is Cincy graciously sends us an email to your personal email account letting you know, hey, an order has been placed on your PWS, your personal website, which is really cool. And you click on that link and it's going to give you the name. The other way that you would also know this is that if you are on your Cincy workstation dashboard, you would be able to go to your order history and then from there be able to see who has ordered as well. So typically whenever someone has placed an order with me, the only thing I do jump on and I don't waste a lot of time is usually within like a 24 to 48 hour span. I will either send a quick text or maybe a voice message to that customer more one-on-one. Now I used to post on my personal accounts on my VIP group. I still do that every now and then, but for the most part I definitely text them one-on-one. It's more personal. But I message them and I say, hey, thank you so much for your order. I really appreciate it. Simple, right? To the point. If you're feeling fancy, those that know me, I love Bitmoji and I love lately I've been using Snapchat. That's been a lot of fun. So if you want to get a little bit more creative, you can definitely incorporate Snapchat in or anything like that of that nature in with your photo, make it more personalized. You can grab your phone, take a quick selfie, send it to your customer. Makes a huge difference, right? Than just a simple thank you text. So it's not something like that's not going to take a lot of time. But that first and foremost, as soon as I see somebody place an order, I would say for sure within 24 to 48 hours, I will respond to that customer and just thank them so much for the order. Then from there, usually what that looks like next for me is, which is really cool because Cincy once again will send an email directly to your personal email account and let you know, hey, so-and-so's order has just recently shipped, which is really cool. In theory, you should be able to click on the tracking link attached to that email and see when that order will actually be shipped out. Now, if your order, that customer's order, your order has recently just shipped, it may take at least a day or so to catch up for to have that expectancy date of when it will be, when it'll arrive, when it will, get to your customer. But when I do see that it has been shipped, I typically will make a note of it. And if you didn't already know this, there's a 3-step process basically in your order history when someone has placed an order. Okay. So the first one is going to say that basically it's been placed, right? So then the second one is going to say, I think posted. So posted means it's been placed, someone ordered. The next one is printed. Printed means that it's currently being packed up and getting ready to send off. I'm going to go and take these off. And the third is that obviously shipped. So once it says shipped, like I said, you can click on the link provided either in your order history or on your email. You can click on that link and it's going to take you directly to showing you whether it's UPS, DHL, what's the other one, FedEx, and then let you know when it is expected to arrive. So from there, that is when I personally have a designated day, I believe it's Thursdays, that I check up with my customers. Okay. So let's just say I have somebody place an order on Monday. I, within Monday to Tuesday morning, will respond to them, let them know, thank you so much for your order. I really appreciate you. And then Thursday is when I do go into the order history and then I see when it's going to be delivered. So this is where you can definitely stand out and set yourself apart from other consultants. So if you happen to see when their order will be delivered, you then, I would suggest going back to them and just saying, hey, so excited, just to let you know, this is when your order is going to arrive. I typically will say approximate because it's not guaranteed, but I just say about this date, end of day, that kind of thing. Trust me when I say that your customer is going to be so ecstatic that you did this because let's be honest, none of us like to check our email. Right? None of us like to go into our email. And if you're doing that, it's one less thing for your customer to have to worry about. Because here's the thing, your customer, if they're ordering from you for the first time or they're not a regular with you, they may not necessarily know that Scentsy is going to send them an email letting them know that their order has shipped, right? How are they supposed to know that? We're supposed to know that, right? We're the consultant. This is our responsibility, our job to do. It's not something you have to do necessarily, but I feel like it's really, really cool that we have that information in our hands and we can do something with it. So there's that. Then pretty much what it looks like from there for me is I do have a tracker that's pretty much right in front of me, pinned on my board, and I will write out when the expected date is for their shipment to arrive. Okay. So then same thing, following Thursday for me, just because Thursdays are just my day following up with customers. So Thursdays in at that point, I will backtrack for said people. And then I will say, hey, I saw your order arrived. How did it go? What did you think? That kind of thing. Now, Scentsy has, well, of course, not just Scentsy, but other people, they have a structure set up to where, and you could kind of like tweak their own, do what you want to do. I think some of them are like 222, whatever you want to do. So basically what that means is like 2 days within the order being placed, think the customer, 2 weeks, I believe, or something like that, 2 weeks after the customer has placed their order, following up with them, making sure everything came out okay. And then from there, 2 months after they ordered, it's time for to follow up with them again and just say, hey, by then, you should be out of something, let me know if you need a refill, let me know if you need to stock back up and place in a group order, that kind of thing, and following up with them. Because typically most of our products within like 2 to 3 months, most of our products are going to be gone and then it'll be time for them to refill, which is really great. So that is something that you want to develop for yourself to be able to figure out how much time you have and to be able to have a system in place, because that way you're a little bit more organized and you're not necessarily driving your customers up the wall asking them for orders, especially if they've already ordered, well within like a couple weeks to a month. A lot of times they're like, oh, thank you so much for checking up on me. That's the thing, is like when you follow up with your customers, more likely they're not going to be upset that you're checking up on them. You're really not going to be bugging them. It's going to feel like it at first if you're not used to doing this with follow up and doing this through customer service. If you're not used to following up, it's going to feel like you're nagging them, but trust me, you're not. It's going to help out a lot. Let's see. Be authentic when you are following up with your customer. One really great thing too, when you are following up with them, is you can let them know that if it's like a um, non-consumable product, let them know that, hey, just want to make sure everything's working okay, everything came out great, because the bonus with Scentsy is that any of our products, like if there ever is like a snafu, like if you have like a wall fan that's defective, or there's something that happened with the warmer, or any of our products, what's really great is that then you can call customer support, and they'll be able to replace or help your customer out in any way that they can to be able to make sure that they're satisfied. Now, though, on the other hand, if it's a consumable product, most of the time, Scentsy cannot take that back once it's been placed. I will say that when your customer has ordered, if the order still says posted, if it hasn't printed yet, there's like a window within that time frame before it says printed, that it is possible that support can go through and cancel. Um, Very rare that window is still available, but I know that it's within that time frame that it is possible. So it's not doesn't hurt to ask. That's what I meant to say. Otherwise, if your customer gets, let's just say, they order a 6-pack of wax, and they're like, you know what, I really don't like these 2 smells out of the 6-pack of wax. I'm not really crazy about it. I thought I was, but I don't really like it. You, as the consultant, do have the opportunity to switch it out, because that's the one thing about good customer service, right? Is that we want to make sure that our customers are satisfied, that they're happy, because happy customers are going to come back and return to you, right? Because you showed great customer service. So if they have something they're not too crazy about, figure out how you can accommodate them and help them in any way to where it's not going to be too daunting. It's not going to cost you anything out of pocket, but there are ways around that you can, figure out what they want. Yeah, so there's that. I'll say that. And here's the thing too, is that if you're not reaching out to your customers and you're not following up with them once they receive their order, you're not going to know if they're satisfied or dissatisfied or something's wrong with the product, because more than likely they're not going to come to you first and foremost, because why should they, right? Like when I place an order with Amazon, or if I just ordered a new pair of Hey Dude shoes, do you think that Hey Dude do you think the company's going to be calling me and they're like, hey, Megan Clark, I saw that you placed an order recently. What do you think about our shoes? Now, sometimes obviously we will get emails on products, asking us for feedback, but no one personally is going to be contacting us, right? Figuring out like, well, what did you think about our product? But the advantage that we have as Scentsy consultants is that you can actually do that. And by the way, if you're not doing that, more likely your customer may not necessarily want to come back to you, because you're not meeting their needs. You're not going above and beyond. You're not setting yourself apart from everybody else. So why should they not go to another consultant? Let's see. One advice that I do have for you as a consultant, especially if you're new, is that if you receive an email from Scentsy about that an order has been placed, leave it there. Don't click on it. Once you click on it, it's going to basically say that you've opened it, that you read it. Leave it there. Don't touch it until you can find the time in your week to follow up with that customer. Once you follow up with them, then that's when you can unclick it or delete it out. But in my opinion, it just helps me stay organized, to not click on it. Let's see. What else? Excuse me. So one thing that I find, you don't necessarily have to do this, it's a little bit extra, but again, I like to be a little bit more personalized, is that when you're thanking your customer when you're following up with them about their order, you can go to their order history, right? And you can see on there what they ordered. I typically will find one thing out of what they ordered and just say like, hey, what did you think about, I don't know, what's one? Falling apples. What do you think about the falling apples wax? Did you like it? That kind of thing, because it just makes it a little bit more personalized. Also, one thing that I do recommend is that if your customer's ordering consumable products, when you're following up with them, and this can either be when their order's already been received, if they've already received the shipment, follow up with them, let them ask them if what they thought. Is everything okay? Did it get delivered all right? Then that's where you can actually insert and plant the seed about Scentsy Club. You can basically say something along the lines of like, hey, I don't know if you knew this or not, but your products can actually go on auto ship. You can get it every other month. You can get it monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly. And that's going to start that introduction into you planting that seed about Scentsy Club. Excuse me. Now, let's just say that you're a month to 2 months in for following up with your customer. That's a whole nother way too that you can introduce Scentsy Club, because you can say, hey, I know it's been about 2 months since you ordered. I didn't know if you knew this or not, but you can actually get your favorite scents that you liked from your last order into an auto ship. Let me know if I can help you out with that. And go from there. Let's see. One thing. Oh yeah, so do this on your schedule, by the way. Keep it simple. Bring it with you on the go. For example, I'm a pen and paper type person. I have some things on my phone, but when it comes to customer follow-up and if I've done it, what I've done, that kind of thing, I'm a pen and paper gal. You may work from your phone, do what works best for you, but something like this can easily be taken on the go, whether you're at a sports game with your kids, your grandkids, whether you're picking them up and you're in line at the school, anything of that nature. When you're in a doctor's office, dental office, you're waiting for something, you're in you're anything like that. When you have little pockets of time, these are customer follow-up is super simple things that you can do in between the mundane of your week. Super easy, keep it simple. I recommend setting aside at least 15 minutes a week, if not 15 minutes per day, and doing customer follow-up and reach out. It just creates great customer service. And just reiterating back that not all consultants do all this, by the way. Some consultants will actually just take the order, take the money, and run. And what I mean by that is their customer, they'll never hear from their consultant. Like, they'll place an order and the consultant will never reach out to them. And that's just, and sadly, a lot of customers, that's all they've known, is just kind of like Amazon. Like, we go to this website, we place an order, and I get my stuff, and that's it. Yeah. So if you don't do Happy Mail, by the way, reaching out to your customer and asking them about their order is just as good, if not better, than Happy Mail, because it's more personalized, it's free, second of all, and it's just overall, like I said earlier, great customer service. Let's see. If you haven't done this, by the way, if you've been with Scentsy for a while and you have not done like customer follow-up, because if this is so new to you and you've been with Scentsy for a while, it's all good. Just start now. Start with your customers that have ordered this month. Start making your list of customers you want to follow up with. By the way, something that I'm starting to do is so much easier for me now is you can go to your order history, print that out. That could be seriously your checklist for who to follow up with about their orders, just FYI. Instead of having to like handwrite it all out, make it easier on yourself, print that out and just highlight it or mark it off as you go. Let's see. What else? I already talked about that. If you have somebody that you've reached out to for whatever reason and they haven't answered back, don't take offense to that. Life happens. It could get busy. More likely, honestly, they didn't see it. Typically for me, if I follow up with a customer about placing an order, I'm like, hey, it's been about 2 months since you ordered, just checking in. I'm putting a local group order in. Do you need anything? If they don't text me back or they don't message me back, I won't bother them again until probably like the next time I do a local group order. I will make a note of it somehow, some way, that I did follow up with them, but I didn't hear back from them. But don't get offended if they don't answer you back. Like I said, they're not going to get mad at you, because they're actually going to appreciate the fact that you were thinking about them. I get that all the time, which is nice. The last thing I'm going to show you guys before I get off of here, let me share. Actually, let me make sure I'm on there first. Scentsy dash. I think I'm gonna have to log back in. Yep, so let's go back. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen. Excuse me. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so it looks like now it's sharing. So when you go to your Scentsy dashboard, this is actually a really cool thing that I love to do. You can actually go to, it's actually under reporting. So you're going to click on reporting, and then you're going to go to sales report. And I'm not actually going to click on this document because it does show my customer's personal information, but I do want to show you guys where you can actually find this at. So this again is on your Scentsy dashboard / workstation. Same thing. So once you click on sales report, what you want to do is about once every month to 2 months, you want to go in here where it says see which customers might potentially reorder and click on view. This part's really cool because it's going to take you into reports. You can go as far back as like a year if you wanted to, but usually I print 2 to 3 months back of who's going to order. It basically just says like who hasn't ordered within 2 to 3 months. And then that's the list that you can print off and then go off of for customer follow-up for future orders. Now, if you wanted to, and then the other thing I was going to show you real quick too, it's under orders. Yeah, so like if you click here on order history, maybe. No, that's okay. Order history was what I was talking about. We'll show you like who's ordered and then you can see who to follow up with. But that's pretty much about it. Thank you guys so much for catching part 2. I hope you all have an incredible weekend. And until next week, I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.